Om Shanti. Today, the world is celebrating the International Day of Yoga, and I'm always wondering about how Baba and drama perfectly work together. And yesterday it was Father's Day, and Baba gave us a Murli about our father Brahma Baba. And we learned so much about the quality of surrender of Brahma Baba. And I only appreciated that in the morning, that it's so interesting that today's Father's Day and we get to know about our Alaukic Father. And today is Yoga Day and Baba is talking about yoga. So drama and Baba always work together. So let me read out what Baba is saying and then we'll think about it. Now in the Murli, somewhere in the middle, Baba says, you ask how you can become the masters of the pure world. The Father says, simply remember me. That is all. There is no other way to become pure. No matter how much they donate or how much charity they perform or how much effort they make, even to walk on fire, etc., nothing except having remembrance of the Father will be useful. This is a very simple thing. It is called easy yoga. So there is a lot of inquisitiveness about yoga in the world. And sometimes it's very important to understand the aim if you want to determine what practice is the best. So whenever people tell me that they have a problem with Baba explaining too much why Sri Krishna is not God, and to the point that they become very aversive, that Baba is always talking about I am God and Sri Krishna is not God, then I tell them that you have to understand why Baba is doing this, because the Gita says you have to connect with God, man mana bhav. And the problem because of which we are impure or we are peaceless is because of body consciousness. And if you connect with a bodily being, you are not going to become soul conscious. So this is why Baba emphasizes so much on remembering the bodiless. So Baba says, I am God and I do not have a body and I am a point of light, and this is the message I come to give you from the soul world. And this is why when you sit in my remembrance, you have to consider yourself to be bodiless and remember that you have all relations with the one who is bodiless. Now, similarly about yoga. So, many people think that yoga is breathing. Many people think that yoga is bodily asana. But let's understand why everybody wants to do yoga. So why yoga first? Which yoga next? Okay, so first, why do we want to engage in yoga? So, yoga is done for health, peace, and happiness. Yes, for health, peace, and happiness. Now, let's understand this, that you are not peaceless, or you are not unhappy because you're not breathing right, or because your body is in a wrong posture. I don't think anybody would say that because my body is in a wrong posture and I'm not breathing right, that's why I'm peaceless and unhappy. So, we are suffering from a state of mind which is peaceless and unhappy. And Baba first tells us the reason for peacelessness and unhappiness. And what he tells us is the connection between purity, peace, and happiness. So, in the Murli also today, Baba is talking about the aim of yoga is to become pure. Yes, because purity of the soul means health of the body, happiness, and peace in the mind. So, purity of the soul is linked to health of the body and peace and happiness of the mind. And everybody knows that physical health is also an aspect of, how pure you are in the mind. Because if there is no purity, then the immunity of the body is not good. So that connection has been established by science. So Baba says, if you want to have health, peace, and happiness, then you have to work on purity. Now let's understand this a little better before we proceed to other things. So, why is purity linked to peace and happiness? So, everybody wants to stay peaceful, but then why are you not peaceful? Um, so you are not peaceful because you are attached to people, places, and things. Yes, attachment is the reason we are not peaceful. Now let's take some examples. So if you have a lustful relationship with another human being, and then they are not paying enough attention to you and they are paying more attention to someone else, then you cannot stay in peace and happiness. Yes, you will feel angry, you will feel jealous, you will feel violated, you will feel all of these things. And if you are not lust free, you cannot be peaceful, you cannot be happy. If you are not, if your object of greed is taken away from you, so if somebody is waiting for an appraisal and they are expecting a good promotion, and then they are let down by the officer in charge and they do not get the appraisal and the promotion that they were looking forward to, then you ask that person to be peaceful, they cannot be peaceful. Yes, so if you have attached to an accomplishment or an attainment on the external world, you cannot be peaceful unless you get that. Or if you are emotionally attached to another human being, then when they are not happy, you cannot be happy. So even if you attend class every day and then someone you are close to and you have an emotional connect with is not keeping well, or they are in trouble, or they are not behaving well with you, then it becomes very difficult to stay in peace and happiness. or if you think that your beauty matters or your physical appearance matters, and then someday the body is suffering from something, or you think that your physical health is very important and then you have an illness, then you cannot stay happy because you're attached to your body. So this is why Baba says purity in a very general way, if you want to understand purity. So purity is always explained by the symbol of the lotus flower. And what is the symbol of the lotus flower? Detachment. Yes, so the lotus stays in the muddy water and then it's still detached. So Baba says, if you don't have this quality of being detached while living in this world, which is purity, then anything on the external world is capable of making you peaceful, peaceless and unhappy. Yes, and then when you are peaceless and unhappy on the inside, then your physical health will also suffer. Yes, because if you are not internally happy and peaceful, then obviously it will take a toll on your physical health also. So pranayam and exercises can help you keep your body fit, but then whenever there is an attack of ego and attachment and anger and greed and lust, then you are bound to get unhappy, and that happiness cannot be ensured. Even if you're very physically fit doing yoga, you will still be unhappy, you will still be peaceless. Okay, so this is something we need to understand. And for that, Baba says, aim for purity. And how will you aim for purity? So if you come to the consciousness that you are a pure soul, then you can behave with purity. Yes, so it is very important to understand that consciousness manifests itself in actions. So if you believe you're basically impure and then you're trying to become pure, it won't work like that. So you have to understand, and this is why Baba has come from the soul world to teach us that we are basically pure beings. I am a pure soul, and I need to see myself as independent of my body, my relationships, and I have to see myself every day as just a point of light. Yes, and Baba in the Murli today says that you need to have this concern. I, the soul, definitely need to remember the Father. And Baba says, at the confluence age, apply the tilak of being a soul, a point and not a body. So everybody wants to, so there is a tradition of applying a tilak on the forehead. And then Baba says there is this very beautiful saying in Hindi, which is Tulsi Das Chandan Ghise Tilak Det Raghubir, which means that Tulsi Das is churning the sandalwood. So he's moving that sandalwood piece, and then Raghubir, or God, gives him the tilak. So now Baba says, you first have to apply the tilak that you are a soul, and then you have to churn this remembrance that you belong to Baba, and then you will get the tilak of Satyug, Satyugi self, Satyugi sovereignty. So Baba says you will get the Rajaika tilak, which is you will be celebrated as a king only when first you apply the tilak that I am a soul. So Baba says, at the confluence age, apply the tilak of being a soul, a point, and not a body. So, this tilak doesn't have to be physically applied. You have to always be self aware that I'm a soul, I'm a point, I'm not this body. Continue to make it firm within yourself. So just like you keep in order to make a paste of sandalwood, you have to churn it many times. Okay, so Raghubir means Sri Ram, but Baba has told us that everywhere that Sri Ram and Sri Krishna mention, it is actually a reference to God. Yes, and because we bring down that reference to a bodily being, this is why we are not able to overcome our body consciousness. Yes, so now Baba says that continue to make it firm within yourself that you are a soul. And how do you make it firm? You have to keep applying this tilak every time so that it gets firm and it cannot get removed. So Baba says, and that you have to claim your inheritance from the Father. Baba is a point and I am also a point. With this tilak, you will attain the kingdom of you will attain the tilak of the kingdom of heaven. Baba says, if you remember me, I guarantee that you will be saved from crying for half the cycle. So everybody wants to have yoga so that they stop crying. Yes, everybody needs a solution to their crying. And Baba says, if you just remember you are a point and keep remembering Baba, then you will come to a place where 2500 years you don't need to cry. Now, we understood that it is important that I detach from whatever I think matters, and then I need to come to this awareness that I'm a point, and I need to remember Baba. And let's understand that this is the way it is supposed to be. And Baba in the Murli today says that there are two kinds of souls, yogis and bhogis. Now, what is a yogi and what is a bhogi? Let's understand. Baba says, you consider yourselves to be souls in the golden age, but you don't know the Father. I, the soul, shed a body and take another. According to the drama, such are your parts. This is why your lifespans there remain long. You remain pure there. In the golden age, your lifespans are long, whereas in the iron age, they are short. There you are yogis, whereas here you are bhogis. Yogis are pure. There is no kingdom of Ravan there, so lifespans are long. Here lifespans are short. This is called the suffering of karma. There is never any untimely death there. So people have a problem with disease and death. And how do you overcome this state of disease and death? So Baba says, whenever there are vices and you are in the kingdom of Ravan, then you are performing karma out of impurity, and this disease and death are a result of or a suffering of impure karma. Yes, so you cannot straighten your posture and just do away with disease and death. So you have to work on karma. And Baba says in the golden age, the souls enjoy long lifespans of 150 years. And why is that? Because they are soul conscious in the golden age. So when you're soul conscious, you're called a yogi. And when you're body conscious, you're called a bhogi. And a body conscious or a bhogi person will always suffer, their suffering of bad karma. and they cannot have health, and they cannot have happiness, or they cannot have a long lifespan. So these connections have to be understood. Now, what is it about soul consciousness and body consciousness that makes us a yogi and a bhogi? Now, let's understand one thing. So, if you, so there was a time when you were not married, and then that person also existed at that time, correct? Right? But their life, their state of mind, their state of existence, and your state of mind were not connected at that time. They were going about their life, and you were going about your life, and there was no connection between how they are, in what condition they are, and in what condition you are. And then suddenly, once you get married, it takes some time. Have you seen that on the first day you don't experience that connection? So you don't really feel that you're interested in their health and well-being the first day you get married. So you don't become instantly attached. But over the years, this attachment grows. Am I right? Yes. So first they don't matter at all, and then they matter too much. Right? And now, why do they matter too much? So we have to understand that we create karmic accounts. Yes. And how is karmic account created? So there is thought, word, action. Yes, there is time, energy, and thought. Yes, so there is money exchange. So there is tan, man, dhan, vachan, karm, and samay, shwas, sambandh. So there is tan, man, dhan, samay, swas, sambandh, and vachan and karam. So whenever you invest these energies for anyone, so whether it be a person or a thing or a project or a work, whenever you are making this exchange, it puts you in a karmic debt. It puts you in a karmic situation. And then because of that karma, you will suffer for their mistakes, and you will suffer for their condition. Yes, so this is why we have spent too much. So let's take a very simple example. Somebody borrows 1 lakh rupees from you today. Yes, it's just 1 lakh, not much. Somebody borrows 1 lakh rupees from you today, and suddenly you're interested in whether they are alive or dead or sick or doing well, or whether they have a good business or not, because now their condition matters to you. Because if they are fine, then your money will be paid back. Yes, so if you have just exchanged money also, then you have put yourself in a karmic situation. Correct? So Baba says for 2500 years, you have engaged in a very body conscious exchange of time, thought, money, resources, energy, everything with people, because you thought this is mine and that is mine, and this belongs to me and that belongs to me. So with people, places, and things, you've created this karmic debt, and this is why you're suffering, right? And how do you open a knot that is tied? So the process of opening a knot is the reverse of the process of tying a knot. Yes, so similarly, if you want to detach or become pure, what do? You don't do any direct exchange of time, thought, money, energy, words with people. So there, Baba says, first you know that you are a soul. Second is you remember me. Fill yourself with what I give you, and then change this direct exchange into an indirect exchange. Okay, so that will settle your accounts, because you are living in a world where you cannot stop this exchange with people, places, and things. So that will definitely be there. But then don't make it based on the return of lust or anger or greed. So, right now, whenever we are doing any action, yes, whenever we are engaging in any action, what is it that we expect in return? So, we do not do any action without having any expectation of return. So, that's not how we are operating right now. So, how do we want that action to be returned? Either our lust is satisfied, or our ego is satisfied, or our greed is satisfied, or I'm emotionally satisfied through attachment. Yes, so that's the phenomena which is driving all our actions today. And then what Baba says is, whenever you are performing an action now, remember that you are a soul. Spend a lot of time knowing and making it firm that you are a point of light and you belong to Baba, and soak in whatever Baba is giving you. Baba is giving you pure love, pure peace, pure happiness. He's giving you a lot of Shakti. So take all that from Baba and be so full that whenever you come into action, you are not driven by lust, anger, ego, attachment, and greed. So you perform actions which are pure actions. Pure actions means actions which are not driven by lust, anger, ego, attachment, and greed. You give because you are, not because of what you get. Yes, so because Baba has given you so much, so you give because you're full, not because you are expecting something in return. And when you start doing this pure action, which comes from this practice of purity, where you consider yourself to be a soul, and in the remembrance of Baba, you're filling yourself with so much knowledge, purity, love, peace, that you're brimming with that energy and you want to just express it in anger, in action. And when you come to that place, then you do karma which is not based on these five vices, and you are not a bhogi, you are a yogi. So a yogi is not somebody who sits in one corner and doesn't do anything. A yogi also does action, but the difference between a yogi and a bhogi is that a yogi does soul conscious action and a bhogi does body conscious action. And then Baba says that now when you practice this, you will settle your karma, and then in the golden age you will be naturally a yogi because you have practiced being soul conscious for so long. Yes, so this is why Baba says that, and when you do this soul conscious action, or a yogi, you conduct yourself in a yogi way, then you will never be peaceless and unhappy, because expectation is the cause of sorrow and pain. Yes, so nobody deceives us. Everybody and everything is exactly the way they are destined to be. Yes, so let me tell you one thing. What I have understood in this journey is, you get what you give. Yes, you get what you give, but What is the but? The but is very interesting. But you may not get it from the same person you give it to. Okay, and this is what we need to learn. And when we understand this one simple equation, that you give anyway and you will get anyway. And when we don't understand this one thing, what is body conscious action? Action where you expect where you give. And that is the cause of our disappointment. And that is what makes us eventually not give. Because you give and then you don't get, and because you think that you should get from where you give, then you stop giving, because that's how you have trained or programmed yourself. But what Baba says is, you take from me and just give. Don't think that you should get it from that same source. And it's not like you will only experience that Baba is giving you. The universe will also give it back to you. The people will also give it back to you. But you should know that it's coming according to that law, not because you gave it to this person. And this is how you become free from expectation and free from distress and pain and sorrow and everything else. Yes, so I will tell you one simple fact. There are so many children who take so much sustenance from Baba, and they don't help Baba's task in any way. And there are so many children who don't take any sustenance, but they help in Baba's task. Yes, so, but what I have learned from this whole observation is, it is Baba's task and it is always taken care of. So it doesn't matter whether somebody who is taking sustenance gives it back or not. It may matter to him or her, but it doesn't matter to us. So when we understand this simple law that you take from Baba, you give anyway, and then you will never be in a position to ask or beg. So that is the action of a yogi. And what does a bhogi do? A bhogi makes it one-to-one. So, if I give you, you have to give it back to me. And then if you don't give it back to me, I reduce the amount I give to the next one, because I'm very skeptical about this law now. And then slowly my capacity to give reduces, because I have not used that capacity. So if you don't use it, you lose it. So this is how it is working. And so Baba says that consider yourself to be a soul. Become very firm in this practice, just churn this, apply this tilak all the time, that I'm just a soul, I belong to Baba, I do not have direct relationship with people, places, things, they are not supposed to fulfill my needs, I am a soul, I belong to Baba, I take everything from Baba. And Baba says, I'm the saccharine of all relationships, and I'm the one who gives you all attainments. So when I sit in Baba's remembrance, I fill myself enough to just give when I come into action. Okay, and I come into action and I give whom? I give to Baba's children. I take from the Father and give to his children. So I have I have no right to expect something in return. because I'm giving to the Father's children who is filling my apron. And Baba says, this is what will free you from expectation and pain and peacelessness. And this is what will ensure health, because swasthiti is the basis of swasthya. So if you're stable inside, you will be healthy physically. Yes, if you're stable inside, you will be healthy physically, because swasthiti is the basis of swasthya, or the internal state that we are in determines our health physically. And it's not just about not getting ill, but also, if some karmic settlement of the body comes up and you are soul conscious, you will be able to cross it. And many a times, when we understand and learn and hear about Dadi Janki, then people who knew her very closely say that Dadi visited the door of death or the doorstep of death many times. Yes, so it looked like Dadi won't survive, and then Dadi survived. So it doesn't matter whether some illness comes up, but how you face it with courage or cowardice is important. And it is said, Jo dar gaya, so mar gaya. So if you're already discouraged, then you're born to die. Then you're definitely dying. And we have seen this phenomena very literally, in the face in these times. So Baba says, when you are so stable inside, and then you know that you are a soul and that you are eternal and that you are taking everything from Baba, and you are in that stable state, then anything on the external will be nurtured by you, even if it's your own body. And this is the secret to happiness and peace. And the secret is purity, and only in knowing that I am a soul and in remembrance of Baba, we can become pure. Okay, so this is something. So Om Shanti.